I have plenty of stuff. Good morning, you guys. Hi, it's Sarah. It's Monday morning. Thank you for joining me. I've had such an adventure this morning, and I'm so thrilled that Linda's here to hear all about it because let me tell you, I had no idea what we were going to do with this problem, which is when you travel, the internet doesn't always do what you want it to. So hopefully you're going to be able to hear me. Hopefully this recording is going to go really well. And if not, well, sorry, we're doing our best. And maybe somebody out there has help for me because traveling is not going to go away. So, you know, if there's some gizmo I need to buy or some magic words I need to say when I check into the hotel to make sure that I'm going to be able to reach you guys on Monday morning, because pre-recording doesn't always work. And I've been thinking about it all morning when I woke up. The whole problem of, gee, this is really stretching me. So that's exactly what I was going to talk about today. And Linda, I know you'll have plenty to say to dive in with it. But I've been walking around this hotel for 3 days now and saying to various staff, where can I go to sit to get online the best? And they kind of look at me like I'm from Mars. And I think, wow, you know, I thought I was technologically challenged, but other people are more so, perhaps. So the topic today that Sarah was going to talk about before she knew Linda was coming is just 3 things that I learned while I was here, or 3 things that I remembered about, 3 things that I was refreshed on. And I didn't expect that we would necessarily have a half hour of Momo, but I wanted to make sure you had some because it's Monday and we got to get up and running. So I'm going to show you a couple things. And then, Linda, I know that you will have a few things you want to add, but number 1, I want to show you where I am, which is Scottsdale Plaza Resort. And what I'm doing is very cool. I've been hanging out with this amazing woman. There she is, Sharon Lecter, and her buddy, Wendy Stevens, who you probably can't see at all. Well, maybe you can right there. And this is what we've been doing, the Speak, Sell, Serve, Sell, Speak, what? Speak, Serve, Sell Summit. And I've been hanging out with them for 3 days, helping with photography and learning a ton of stuff. It's been really cool. One of the really cool things, yeah, here I am. See. I'm a host committee and a VIP. So I took a bunch of pictures, you guys, and they're all up on the internet and Facebook, and hopefully there'll be more soon. We got a copy of this free. Yoo-hoo-hoo. And this is the 21st century edition of Think and Grow Rich, what every single one of you knows is the manifesto for entrepreneurs and for getting up and running. When you haven't read this book, you really have missed out on something. And the reason that we got this is because Don Hill, all of a sudden I'm having a brain. Sorry, Don, from the Napoleon Hill Foundation was here speaking, and he had with him, and I wish I had it, but forget it, the original manuscript from not Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, his other book that's just been released in the last year or so, Outwitting the Devil. So it was a manuscript that was all typewritten, and Napoleon Hill's notes in the columns, and bunches of us got to touch it because it's a pretty magic book. It's if you haven't read that one, I would advise you to do so. So we've been having fun, and you know, the challenges of travel. So that would be the first thing I would throw at you, Linda, if you got ideas for me, because I don't want to be letting people down on Monday mornings, and we don't always do well with pre-recording. This week, just if we don't have a good plan set up today, next Monday might be weird, though I will be at home, thank goodness. What would you say to somebody who travels and wants very much to still have some kind of consistent message around this stuff? Anything you want to add?
So today's cell phones are absolutely amazing, and you can download a little app called like Wi-Fi Finder. There's several different apps.
Ooh, I love it.
Tells you the strength of the signal, and you can kind of walk around and see how much signal.
Darling, people at the front desk need to know that. Wi-Fi Finder app. I love it. Anything else you want to add? Keep going.
Well, I mean, that's the big thing for getting online. Like you've got your little headset microphone there, absolutely a must to carry with you, because you can't always guarantee you're going to be able to hear people. They were going to be
well, that's cool. I mean, this is a very new little device that I got to help me on the phone so that I'm not always holding it, you know. And I don't really like speakers so much. Yelling at people feels weird too, but this feels great, and that's why I got it. But I thought I was going to do the Hangout on the phone, and this is, you know, another challenge. I went into Hangouts on my phone, and it says this Hangout will start in a minute, and I'm like, yeah, only if I can get it started. Tell me, I couldn't figure out how to start it from here, so I just took a chance. And I'm thrilled that my computer is working well enough wherever I am, because the first place they pointed me was the lobby, and there was a lot of music there, and I didn't think that would work. So yay, if you think of other things, because I can't be the only person out there that would like more information on traveling and how you can stay still in contact, because I think it's really important. And it may be a whole nother topic someday, but I want you guys to know that, you know, I'm always telling you, you need to go out and learn. You need to stretch yourself. You need to grow. And I want you to know that I do the same thing. I take my own medicine, and that's what I'm doing here. And of course, Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time for me, I got to do this too. So yay. So I want to tell you the 3 little things, and they're not so little. Maybe we could talk for a long time. And now that there's another person, maybe we actually will. But either way. But the challenges of the internet are just one of the challenges, and I know that we all have our challenges, and those of us who are truly working from home and being the entrepreneur that these broadcasts are designed for, know that challenge as well. So more challenges, like I said, the internet, all that. How about the hair? Holy cow. I come out of my hotel room and it's like walking into an oven. It's kind of hot here. It's kind of different here. My makeup is like melting. A few things like that. Just, oh well, this is me. This is what you get. So one of the things that this reminds me of is, you know, we set our intentions, we have what we want to do, we have our vision, and sometimes you got to let go of how that's going to happen or what it's going to look like, and certainly be willing to be a little bit messy at times like this. So have you ever had a time where you just had to let go completely of how something was going to work out, Linda? You know, you set, okay, this is what I'm hoping for. This is what I'm dreaming of, and I'm really going to let go, or try really hard to let go of me being the boss, me knowing exactly step by step by step how this is all going to unfold, and then seeing magic happen. Has that ever happened for you?
It probably happens all the time, and I just deal with it. I'm one of those people that I just go with the flow. Hey, I just noticed on Monday momentum. My goodness.
Yes, I think I am too, or I was a minute ago. Now I'm me. Oh well. So tell us more about going with the flow. Like, oh, whoops, my lower third doesn't say what it's supposed to say.
I think some people are really rigid in their thinking, and if it doesn't happen a certain way, oh my gosh, you know, the world's going to fall apart. Well, you know what? It doesn't. And if I was going to stress over every little thing that didn't go right, I'd never get anything accomplished. So basically, it's really, actually, let me tie this into a presentation I went to the other night. Talked about personality styles, learning styles, buying styles. There are some people that just have to have everything laid out, step 1, step 2, step 3. And you know what? If step 3 shows up before step 2, they're not sure what to do and how to handle it. That's not me. I think a lot of the chaos in my life, I don't know what I'd do without it, Sarah. To me, it's variety. And I don't worry about those things. It is what it is. And if it isn't what it is, then either I can stress about it or I can do something to deal with it. So I love travel. Travel to me is an adventure. I would so much rather be traveling than based out of, you know, one place all the time. So I think it's fabulous that you're getting out there. You're going to this awesome program. I'd really love to hear a little bit more about that program. I know Sharon Lecter wrote an alternate book based on Think and Grow Rich. Did she talk about that at all? Is there any other things that you can tell us about what you're learning at this seminar right now?
Oh, sure. You know, Sharon Lecter is amazing. I mean, amazing. Anytime she answers any question, I'm like, wow. She wrote Think and Grow Rich for Women, and that was released, I don't know, let's say 2 years ago, maybe now, sometime in the recent past. And that book is completely based on Think and Grow Rich. It's all the same chapters and principles. It's just updated, and it's taken from a woman's focus. And it's for other people who may not know, Sharon Hill works with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. So she had complete blessing and support to do that. It wasn't like she just took advantage of this wonderful, you know, so many people know Think and Grow Rich and could use it as much as they can for whatever ways to draw attention to themselves. I mean, it's a great hashtag, for instance, because people have heard of it. But she was actually, you know, brought in by the Napoleon Hill Foundation, number one, to work on Outwitting the Devil, which was this manuscript that Napoleon Hill wrote. And then his family, especially his wife, I believe, did not want it released because it was too controversial. I mean, even the title, Outwitting the Devil, in those days was something pretty risque. And it's a very, very powerful book. So it's wonderful that it has been released. I mean, I recommend it highly if you haven't read it yet. And I feel like I need to go reread it again. So that's her, you know, she's financial literacy, the whole Rich Dad, Poor Dad empire. She was part of building that. And now she's on her own doing these things. This whole weekend was about writing books, getting them published in big ways. So not self-publishing, which is fine for some projects, I think. And I think Sharon would agree with that. But this is more, you know, if you're going to work with a publisher, how do you make sure that your book, the business that you're building out of it, after the book is actually published, the whole year or so before and after, so that you really maximize what you can earn. And, you know, because writing a book is a way to make yourself, give yourself credibility as an expert. And it's fabulous, but it's not the end game, because the book, you know, may make you a bunch of money, but it may not. But the fact that you can then work on stages, or you can do, you know, seminars, coaching, all the other things that can come out of it, is where the long-term income comes in. So I don't know if I've answered your question. I've gone on and on.
You did call her Sharon Hill, and it obviously.
Did I really? Oh, good for me. Well, she probably wouldn't mind.
You know, this is a perfect example of what we were just talking about. Is this when things don't go as planned? You asked me a question, I turned it around on you, and look how beautifully you did answering that. So, hey, what was step 2, or your issue number 2, point number 2?
Oh, okay. Well, you know, that was so the first thing was, you know, letting go of how something is going to happen. And for me, you know, this morning I'm like, okay, I could just I could take an old Monday Momentum, because we have a library now, and I could just post that, and then I wouldn't have to like do this because I don't know if it's going to work. And it's sort of about stretching. And one of the things that I heard yesterday was, you know, think about what it is that you're working on, or what stories you have that are kind of painful to tell, maybe, or things that, you know, you don't like so much about your business. You know, we have talked a lot about being organized, and, you know, for me, I want to be organized, and I don't always feel like I am. So that's sort of a thing that I put out there. But this new tip that I got about that is, you know, we may recognize our areas that are uncomfortable for us, and those are actually the areas that we need to grow in, to stretch in. So when you're looking for someone who, maybe you're going to hire a coach, or maybe you're just going to study their material, one way to pick them is to pick somebody that scares you. and I like that, because I think I'm kind of scary for some people, and because I'll call you on stuff that you might not want to be called on sometimes, and I can be really, really direct and really I think sometimes it hurts people's feelings, though. I promise you it's meant with love, 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 but it's just who I am. And I blow it sometimes. Who doesn't? So I like that. I thought if you feel like, I make you uncomfortable, then you should hire me. So I don't know. I mean, it was all about stretching and the idea that that's what growing is. And if it makes you uncomfortable, maybe you should go do it. So that was the second one. Any input on that?
Well, Sarah, I don't find you very scary. I think you are very easy to work with. When it comes down to business and brass tacks, perhaps, but you do make people feel comfortable, and I think anybody that does any coaching with you is going to get that. So
well, thank you.
Hire you because they fear you. They're going to hire you because you're awesome.
Well, maybe, I don't know, but at any rate, it was a good tip, and it's been a good one for me. I like to do things that kind of scare me a little bit. And I'm pretty sure that I've grown a bunch. Like I said, this morning, I knew I could just get away with, not putting on a show. And we didn't do a lot of promotion ahead of time. Obviously, I didn't even set it up until an hour before we do it. But the fact that we now, it's important to be consistent, I believe. And I know there is an audience. And I don't want anybody to be like, okay, sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. And I knew that whatever I produced, if it was just me, I was just going to talk for 10 minutes about these 3 things, say, hi, I'm here. It's not deluxe today, but the show must go on, because I think that's very important. And, but it was a stretch because it was just going to be me. That's what I thought. And I didn't know if I was going to be doing it this way. I've done one Hangout on a phone, and and we had James do one that time. So it's kind of awkward and weird. But I'm not. I found the corner in the hotel. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about a little bit today was this idea that I came across over the weekend, but it was not directly because of the classes that we were doing here. It was more something else I was reading on my off time. But I believe that it's still impactful and helps with this whole sort of theme of growing yourself and moving in the direction you want to go in, which is what we talk about every week on one way or another. And that is an idea of, visioning yourself, how you want to be, say in 10 years, 5 years, who is that future person? Who do you want them to be? And there's various exercises around this. You may have heard, I've had people say, write a letter to yourself, pretend you're 85 or 120 or whatever, somewhere farther down the road, substantially farther, not tomorrow. And write a letter to yourself from that perspective about what you think of yourself now, kind of. And it's just a way of sort of making or creating a future self. And this future self is actually very real in your mind, at any rate. And if that future self isn't reflective of your goals and who you really want to be, you can ask that person questions. And so that was the idea that okay, so if you have goals that you want to be a movie star and you want to live in Hollywood or whatever it is, ask that person questions when you're trying to make a decision now. Ask them, what would they be doing? Ask them what they think of this idea. Ask them. It's another way of staying in alignment with your vision and in alignment with your goal. But I love the idea of, okay, what would you think, Sarah? Would you stay in bed this morning and just post a replay? Or would you say, I should get up and figure out some way to do my best to make this happen? And you can guess what she said. So it's just I like the idea of it. So is there anything you would say about your future self?
I wish I had done that many years ago. I would probably be in a very different place than I am right now. Because, hindsight is always 2020.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that's on my eventual goal list is that I love what I do. I love working with people on their websites, teaching WordPress. And one of the things that I really want to do in the future is to travel around to great exotic locations and hold website weekends. well, you know what? All of the stuff that I've been doing all along is preparing me to do that. And finally, I decided that it's not going to happen right away for me to do that in an exotic location. But you know what? I could start right here and right now.
Yes.
So this has been a future goal for me for a long time. When I first started having this goal, I would probably be doing this right now if I really thought about it that way, Sarah. Written that letter to myself, asked myself, these questions. I think that would have been really cool. So I think looking forward and trying to, ask yourself the tough questions that you think that you're going to be doing, get them answered now, is going to help you with a lot more clarity now. So anyway, I am starting my website weekends locally.
Yay!
Watch. I am going to be doing them in great locations. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's fabulous, and it's a whole new thing I've never heard of. So I can't wait to hear more about it. And I'm immediately going, okay, well, if you want to do a website weekend in Las Vegas, you could probably do one pretty easily since you go there all the time. Just link it onto the weekend before CEO Space, the weekend after. That would be a next really easy, not easy, but it would be a next stretch versus let's do one in, on top of Kilimanjaro. There's, that one makes sense to me. And could come and do it in Reno. Doing it in places where you have friends and connections so that it's not so disruptive. Starting at first in your own town to learn how to do the mechanics of it, maybe get a few under your belt, and then go and do it with people that you know. And because there's plenty of us that would attend, because so many people from CEO Space that are just everywhere in the country, and you could have like a road tour, go on tour, spend a year touring the United States. It's a pretty interesting country. And then
can you imagine, you need a website done, that there's X dollars allocated to get that website done. Well, hey, what if you could get it done in the weekend? So what I'm looking at, Sarah. And
I think that's fabulous.
I need to tie it in Vegas because I love going to CEO Space.
Yeah. And you can see yourself doing that, I imagine. You have some vision of what the room would look like, what the people would look like. They bring their own laptops, or, there's some kind of work they'd have to do ahead of time to make it work out, and realistic goals for them for a weekend, especially if they're people that are kind of challenged like me. You can visualize that, and then you can see yourself in the room doing it. And then you can ask that person, okay, what should I be doing now, honey, to get ready for that? And with love, that, because of course you love your future self and she loves you like mad. And I mean, it's actually a parenting technique that I've used for years, and I'm grateful that I thought of it. I mean, it's not quite the same, but I used to say to my kids a lot, and still do, okay, if you don't do your homework now, what's the future Max going to think about you? Is he going to like you? Is he going to be happy about you? And it was just sort of a concept. And of course, it's parenting manipulation, trying to get them to do things that you think they ought to do. But it's become a piece of our family life. What would the future Sarah say? What would the future Freddie say about what you're doing right now or thinking about doing? And sometimes it doesn't work, but it's the same idea. Will you be glad later that you're doing this thing now? Or maybe you want to take care of that person, that future person, and have them be really glad and grateful to you, which is the choice sometimes. So fabulous. I love it. We have a new project for Linda, website weekends.
Yeah.
So, I'm that's the 3 tips that I had, which I'll go over them again because my friend Werner Burger was here, and he, as anyway, and the audience may or may not know, Werner Burger was the man who led the trip that I went on with my kids to climb Kilimanjaro. And that was a leadership experience as well as an amazing physical experience. And I would encourage, if you want to know more about that, check in with me. But he was here this weekend as well. And we spent a little time talking about some of the things in Africa because we're all sort of homesick now, and that's the problem with traveling, is you fall in love with a place and then you want to go back. But that trip for me was a real emphasis and an understanding, a deep understanding, I hope, and an acceptance and perhaps an improvement on my ability to let go of how something is supposed to work out. And so we spent a lot of time talking about that. So I just want to underscore it. You know, when you have a goal or a vision or a thing that you want, when you can let it go and say, okay, I'm really clear about what it is. I want to go travel around the world and have website weekends that are going to be attended by, you know, people that are fabulous, that do really well with what I'm teaching. They're all the best students for me. We you know, have a great time, and they walk away feeling great value. Plus, I get to see really cool places on the planet. I know all these pieces about what I want, and now I'm going to let go of how exactly that's going to happen. Because when you can do that, often you will be surprised at, oh, it came this way? I never would have thought of that, but that's really cool. In fact, that's even better. And this letting go of how was very impactful for me on our trip. So Werner and I spent time talking about it, and that's why I brought it up as one of the tips. So let go of how. Figure out what you want, and then sometimes let go of how. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you really got to make a decision. You got to take a step of some kind. There needs to be action. So then you can ask your future self, okay, what would it be? What should I do? And that will also help you move towards where you want to go. And then the last one is stretch sometimes and do something that scares you. Like, talking about these woo-woo kind of things in a hotel in the middle of, you want to see where I am? It's hot and sweaty. I don't know if you can see anything very well. There's a really cool, big, giant eucalyptus tree over there, but I feel like I'm in an oven. It's a nice little window back there. You got to stretch sometimes. So would you like to sign out? And then I'll say wrap it up. And thank you so much for joining me, Linda. I appreciate your braveness and your ability to put up with me and my craziness.
Well, Sarah, I'm glad you decided to do it this morning and that you didn't have to do it alone. So my name is Linda Kay, and my company is Interactive Synergy. And what I do is I help people with product, services, or ideas profit on the internet.
Great, Linda. Thank you so much. You're in New Hampshire.
Yes, I am in New Hampshire.
And she's also a regular on Monday Momentum, which is why her lower third says that right now. But you can find all her information if for no other way. Go to the Monday Momentum Google Plus page, or go to our YouTube, send us a message, and we'll make sure that we get Linda and you connected. So next week, we'll have our lower thirds straight, because we'll be in studios and we'll have our act together. But yay for us, because we stretched. I sure did. So I'm Sarah Coolidge. It says right there. Yes, it does. Reno Tahoe Networking is my group. So I'm based in Reno Tahoe, but I do travel around. And we are here every Monday for you and for us, because we are solopreneurs like you. We work from home. We get distracted. And we need a little push, and we push each other, and we're pushing you. So it's Monday. It's time to get going, get out there and work, and be proud of yourself. Figure out what that future Friday person wants you to do, and go do it, so that when you slide into home base on Friday, you feel really good about what you did, what you got done. Have a fabulous week. Go find us on YouTube and like us and subscribe and all that stuff. And we will see you next Monday. Thank you very much. Bye.